It was a quiet Monday evening in February 2004, when a nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst packed her car with alcohol, some clothes, and printed directions. She left campus without telling anyone why. By sunset, her car would be found crashed on a snowy backroad in New Hampshire, and Maura Murray would be gone forever. What happened in those precious few minutes between her last known sighting and her disappearance? Why did she vanish without a trace, leaving behind no footprints in the snow, and even fewer answers? This is the story of Maura Murray, a brilliant student, a promising athlete, and a young woman running from something, or someone. And after 20 years, we're still asking the same question. Maura Murray was born on May 4, 1982 in Hampshire, Massachusetts, the fourth of 5 children in a close-knit Irish Catholic family. She was bright, athletic, and ambitious. By all accounts, Maura had a shining future. She was a star runner in high school and eventually enrolled in the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, where she studied chemical engineering. But after a brush with trouble, using a stolen credit card, she left and transferred to UMass Amherst to study nursing. To the outside world, Maura looked fine. She had a boyfriend, Billy, stationed in Oklahoma with the Army. She had a caring family, a promising future. But underneath that composed exterior, something wasn't right. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Maura's behavior grew erratic. There was a car accident involving her father's brand new Toyota. Then she received a mysterious phone call while working her campus security job. After she hung up, she broke down in tears. No one knows who was on the other end of that call. But it seemed to mark a turning point. On Monday, February 9, 2004, Maura emailed her professors, telling them there was a death in the family, and she'd be gone for the week. There was no death. She then called a number in Bartlett, New Hampshire to inquire about lodging. And shortly after, she packed up her black Saturn sedan and drove north. No one knows exactly why she chose the White Mountains. It wasn't a random decision. Maura had vacationed in that area with her family, but she told no one where she was going. At 7:27 p.m. in the tiny town of Haverhill, New Hampshire, Maura's car skidded off Route 112 and struck a snowbank. A nearby resident heard the crash and called 911. Another neighbor, a school bus driver named Butch Atwood, drove over and spoke to Maura. She seemed shaken but not injured. Butch offered to call the police. Maura declined, saying she'd already called AAA. But he knew there was no cell service in that area. So he went home and made the call anyway. Police arrived at 7:46 p.m., just 19 minutes after the crash. But Maura was gone. The car was locked. The windshield was cracked. Wine had spilled across the interior. Her belongings were inside, except for her wallet, cell phone, and keys. There were no footprints leading away from the car. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. The next morning, a bolo, "Be on the lookout," was issued. Maura was declared missing, but there was no immediate manhunt. Law enforcement initially treated it as a routine missing person case. Perhaps a college student having a breakdown, maybe even trying to escape something back home. But as days passed and Maura didn't surface, concern turned into dread. Her family arrived in New Hampshire almost immediately. Her father, Fred, was relentless, and perhaps most haunting of all. If she did make it out of that crash site alive, where did she go next? In 2021, police returned to the crash area and excavated a nearby home's basement. Once again, they found nothing. It's as if the forest swallowed her whole. In 2024, it will be 20 years since Maura vanished. 2 decades without a single confirmed sighting, without a piece of concrete evidence, without a single answer. She was 21 when she disappeared. If alive, she'd be 41 today. Over the years, countless podcasts, documentaries, and amateur investigators have tried to piece together her final hours. But Maura's case resists closure. It remains one of the most perplexing and heartbreaking mysteries in modern American crime history. What makes it so haunting is that it feels incomplete. There's no body, no note, no suspects, no leads. Just a broken car on a winter road, and a young woman who left more questions behind than answers. Somewhere out there, someone knows what happened. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe it was a decision. Maybe it was a crime. But until we know the truth, Maura Murray remains missing. Thank you for watching. If you found this case as chilling and heartbreaking as we did, please subscribe for more true crime stories.